let's continue tweaking our footsteps. We'll bring our attention now to the middle legs, and then we'll have them lift so they look more like steps. Show our control objects, and we can start with the left side. So remember, we're going to have them follow with the back legs, but we'll still want to have them offset. So that back leg on the left side is planted until after frame 18. So we'll take this middle leg and we'll have it plant till frame 18. We'll just middle click on frame 18 from frame 10 and press Shift W. And then that back leg comes forward and plants at frame 22. So let's go one frame after and have that middle leg plant. We'll also go ahead and bring it out so we get more of an interesting looking pose. So we look at the line of actions of the legs. Okay, so now we have it plant until, let's say, about 28 to offset from the back leg. So we'll go to 23, middle click on 28, press Shift W, then we'll take the key on 30, Shift selected, and just middle mouse button click and drag that a few frames back. So here's what we get, plants. Alright, we're getting some nice offsets here. So we can take that pose on frame 35, middle click on frame 50, and lock the foot in place. Okay, great. So just make sure we like the plants before we move on to the next mid leg. Alright, so go into this again, we look at that back leg. And that comes up and plants at frame 18, so we could have this leg come up and plant on that frame. And then possibly take this key on frame 18 and offset it just one frame. If you need to, you can move your range slider to select keys a little bit easier. We'll just drag that. Okay. And let's see how it would look if we were to take the pose on frame 10, this middle leg, and middle click on frame 12 and press Shift W to have it plant and offset from the back leg just one more frame. Alright, great. What I'd also like to do is take the key on now frame 19 and bring that a little bit more forward so it looks like he's actually moving forward and not just sliding his leg forward. Okay. So now we'll look at that back leg. It's planted until after frame 21. So go to this mid leg, have it plant at until frame 22. We'll middle click from frame 19 to 22. Press Shift W, see if we like what's happening here. And it looks like we could actually have it hold for a little bit longer. And to determine that, we want to keep in mind, as creatures move, they want to be as comfortable as they possibly can. So when legs start to overextend, probably want to go a few frames before and consider having them translate in the direction of choice at that time. Okay, so again, looking to that back leg, that plants at about 26. So we'll have the middle leg plant at, say, 27. Just move this up and out, and make sure it's touching the ground. Okay, then we have it kind of shifting on frame 30. Let's go ahead and take that pose and move it back. And look to that back leg again. That's planted until 33. So we'll take this pose on 35 and maybe bring it up to about 36. And then we'll middle click from frame 27 to 34, press Shift W to keep that foot planted, and we'll even see if we even need that pose on frame 16. We might, or excuse me, 36. We might be able to just remove it. I'll delete. And then from frame 34, we can middle click on frame 50 and press Shift W. Okay, so notice how the leg's extending here. So here's a good example where we could have it shift. Look to the back leg again. It steps at it plants at about frame 39. So we could have the other leg plant at about, let's say 41. Just bring it so it's at a more comfortable spot. And then we'll take that pose on 41, middle click on frame 50. So here's how our legs are looking. Let's go back to our control objects group. We'll go ahead and hide our controls and hit play. Alright, great. So our legs are looking great from the start. We need to have them start lifting up, so let's go ahead and work on that. Go back to our controls and just can work our way through from the left side to the right, just making sure that they lift up when they need to. So we can go to about, like to have a good feeling of weight, so we can go to about one frame after what would be the mid frame here. So rather than 13, we'll go to about 14 and lift it up only in the Y, so that as he steps in, get a nice feeling of a stomp. So we'll look at the next time he's moving his leg up on frame 27 or 23, excuse me. We can bring that leg up in the Y, maybe move it slightly forward in the Z. Have him step in. And then when he moves his leg up on about 37, we can have him just lift that up. And then he plants. Great. Let's go ahead and move over to the middle leg. We can frame that. This time on 21, we can have this lift up. And then it steps in. Great. I'll do the same on, say, about 32. I'll lift that up. And the steps aren't going to be too high. The character's moving more exaggerated, you might want to do that, but if we're trying to achieve something more realistic, then wouldn't want them to move too high. Alright, so that looks good. Let's go to the back leg, and then we'll move on to the right side to basically finish up the steps here at the first section. And we do have the feet to rotate in, but we'll worry about the rotating the claws a little bit later. We're just concerned with the main movement. And the secondary things can wait till after. So this one, probably go to 30. Just lift up the leg here. Alright, great. And then we can move over to the right side and start doing the same thing. So, can have the leg move up on about 18. Just bring that up. Great. And on 28, we'll do the same. We'll just have it rise up. And boom, it stomps. Then we can go to the mid leg. Look at it. Let's try on frame 16, just lifting that up. Make sure it's not intersecting with the front leg. Great. And then we'll, this time on frame 25, again lift the leg up, maybe bring it forward just a little bit more. So we do. Okay, and then it takes one more step, so on 38 we'll go there and lift this foot up. Bring it forward. We don't want to bring it too far forward, otherwise the path of action will look wrong. So I'll just translate it back a little bit more on the Z. Great. So let's now go to this back leg and work on fixing this up. 15, we can lift the leg up here. Stomps down. 24, lift it up. Not too high. Stomps down. And at about 36, lift it up. If you have more of a spacing as the leg is coming forward, you might want to consider just lifting it up at the midpoint. Okay, let's see how this looks. We'll go back to our control objects. We'll hide them. And we can just hit play to get a feel of how it's looking. Excellent. So our footsteps are really coming along. We want to check out the animation in all angles. Great. So we'll hit play at the top. See how that's looking. This is really starting to come together very quickly. Okay, so let's stop the lesson here, and in the next lesson we'll just continue with our legs, now moving on to the next part where the character shifts to the other part of the environment.